Winter wind howled through the Fox Chase woods in February 1957. A fragile cardboard box lay abandoned in the freezing underbrush. It was stamped with a faded retail logo. Most people would have walked right past it. But something was terribly wrong. A cheap plaid blanket spilled from the torn edges of the cardboard. Beneath that coarse fabric lay a devastating reality. It was the pale, bruised body of a little boy. He had no name. He had no voice. And the city of Philadelphia was about to lose its innocence forever. In 1957, America was living a post-war dream of safety. Neighborhoods were filled with the sounds of playing children. Doors were routinely left unlocked at night. The Fox Chase area was a quiet, semi-rural edge of the bustling city. It was a place of overgrown trees and silent dirt roads. People went there to hunt muskrats or dump unwanted household trash. It was not a place where nightmares usually occurred. But the illusion of safety is always fragile. One grim discovery was about to shatter that perfect facade. A young man checking his traps stumbled upon the box first. He saw the lifeless form inside. But fear kept his mouth tightly shut. He was terrified the police would confiscate his hunting traps. He chose silence over justice. He walked away, leaving the child in the freezing cold. Several days passed in absolute, chilling silence. Then, a college student driving down Susquehanna Road spotted a rabbit. He pulled over to chase it into the dense woods. Instead of an animal, he found the discarded bassinet box. He opened the lid. The sight haunted him for the rest of his life. He immediately notified the local authorities. Sirens soon shattered the quiet afternoon. Detectives descended upon the freezing woodland. They expected a routine, tragic crime scene. What they found was a puzzle of profound cruelty. The boy appeared to be between 4 and 6 years old. He was severely malnourished. His tiny frame weighed barely 30 pounds. His blonde hair had been hastily and crudely sheared off. Clumps of cut hair still clung tightly to his cold skin. Someone had stripped him of his identity in a frantic rush. His body bore the terrible map of prolonged abuse. There were surgical scars on his ankle and groin. An L-shaped scar marked his small chin. His lips were battered and heavily bruised. Yet his face had been wiped clean. It was a haunting contradiction of violence and strange care.
City of Philadelphia, Surmount Office of
The autopsy revealed severe blunt force trauma to the head.
Blunt force trauma.
He did not die a peaceful death. The investigation exploded into a massive, desperate hunt. Police fingerprinted the boy, expecting an easy match. They found absolutely nothing. They took footprints from his tiny, lifeless feet. The archives held no record of his existence. It was as if he had fallen from the sky. Over 400,000 flyers were printed and distributed. His face was attached to every gas bill in the city. Detectives tracked the cardboard box to a specific store in Upper Darby. They interviewed dozens of recent customers. The trail vanished into thin air. They analyzed the cheap pattern blanket wrapped around him. It was a mass-produced item with thousands of owners. Every promising lead dissolved into a frustrating dead end. The silence of the community was deafening. Nobody stepped forward to report a missing child. How could a little boy simply vanish without a whisper? Detectives refused to let the case go cold. They chipped in their own money to buy him a suit. They dressed his lifeless body and posed him in a chair. They took photographs, hoping a lifelike image would trigger a memory. It was a desperate, heartbreaking strategy. It yielded 0 results. Years turned into heavy, agonizing decades. The original investigators grew old and retired. Yet they still carried his picture in their wallets. They visited his grave on lonely Sunday afternoons. A community of strangers became his surrogate family. They bought him a headstone that read, "America's Unknown Child." The psychological weight of the case broke seasoned men. It is one thing to investigate a murder. It is another entirely to realize that nobody is looking for the victim. The isolation of that child haunted the minds of everyone involved. Decades later, a bizarre theory emerged from a woman known only as M. She claimed her abusive mother had purchased the boy. She described years of horrific torment hidden behind closed doors. Her details matched unreleased police files perfectly. It was the most credible narrative they had ever heard. But without physical corroboration, it remained a dark, unproven ghost story. The mystery deepened, buried under layers of time and dust. But science eventually caught up with the buried past. In 2022, 65 years after his death, DNA genealogy cracked the vault. The boy finally got his stolen name back. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli. The announcement sent shockwaves through the true crime world. The nameless child was no longer an absolute mystery. But the ultimate truth remains fractured. Both of his biological parents are long dead. The specific hands that struck the fatal blow remain officially unidentified. Identifying the victim is only half the battle. The shadows of 1957 still hide the darkest secrets. Joseph's new headstone proudly displays his real name. But justice is still a ghost lingering in the Fox Chase woods. Some cases end in a definitive verdict. Others linger in the heavy silences around them. What remains after a case is partially solved is not closure alone. It is the shape of what can never be fully restored. At what point does a family secret become a fatal trap? There are more stories like this still waiting to be examined. The truth does not always disappear at once. Sometimes it recedes slowly, leaving fragile traces behind. We will keep following those traces.